Selwyn here from WynnStrength.com, bringing you the second day of the 8th week of the Darkhorse Training program by Brian Alsruhe. Like usual, I'll leave links below for Brian Alsruhe's original video, where he outlines the program and goes over just how to do it, as well as the LiftVault website, where they've taken that information and placed it onto a free Google web sheet, so you can do the program at home if you would like. You don't have to do any of that hard translation work from video to a spreadsheet. So second day of the third and final phase of the program brings across some new changes again from the first week. These are more equipment related changes or necessary changes. Normally called for a pull-up with a neutral grip with some weights, as well as a close grip bench press. But the barbell gets in the way of me doing a pull-up, so we opted to switch it out and go for the T-bar rows to pair with the close grip bench press. What this does is it does allow me to do both movements in a superset fashion without having to worry about bumping into that barbell on that pull-up there. Again, things you'll have to play with your own program, your own facility, your own gym, just to see what works and what doesn't work equipment-wise. One of the reasons why I highly encourage you to get two barbells if you can. Start off with a cheap one and then save up to get the nice one, so at least you're in the gym working out. Or alternatively, save up, get that nice one to begin with, so you're always using that nice barbell, and then save up a couple more months and then get that cheaper barbell. I don't think there's a reason for two nice barbells unless you have the money. If you're budget focused, definitely get that one nice one. I highly recommend the Rogue or higher power bar. I'll have a review of that coming soon. I think it's a couple more months before I've owned it for a full year, as well as a cheap beater barbell. This barbell, just get a cheap one off Amazon. I would say the Cap OB86, even any of the new Titan barbells, I would say spend under $200, close to the $150 mark. That way you're not too concerned with it. You can take this thing outdoors. If you do Olympic lifts, you can throw them up you can drop them from over the head, use them for like pin deadlifts if you want. You don't have to worry about the bend in the bar. You can put them in the T-bar landmine attachments. You don't have to worry about the sleeves. So things like that. It's kind of nice to have that beater barbell where you're not too concerned with treating it nicely. Now with the Rogue or higher power bar, I probably don't want to do pin deadlifts on it, pin squats, where I drop the barbell. Don't want to do a lot of movements where I drop the barbell. Now the barbell probably could hold up to that because I am doing these movements very sparingly and it is just me. But again, just for that longevity of this barbell, my own personal tendency is to not abuse it as much as I would a cheaper beater barbell. Something that costs half the price, I'm more likely to abuse that and use it as necessary. That's the barbell I'll take outside to do walking lunges or Olympic movements where I'm going to drop the weight, just because I don't want to risk it with the power bar, the more expensive one. That being said, obviously the cheap barbell goes to that landmine sleeve attachment, so we're able to do that T-bar row as well as the nicer barbell for the close grip bench press. We're switching that back. You noticed last time it was neutral grip pull-ups. I had it on the other barbell there, on the other pull-up bar. So we're putting it back to have the pulling and pushing motion back in that same horizontal plane. So we're rowing and pushing. I still enjoy that pairing of movements just because we are working that antagonist-agonist muscle pairing. And I think it just activates a little bit more muscle. It just feels nicer at the end of the day, and that's personal preference, up to you. You can mix it up however you want. I would just recommend to do a pulling and a pushing. That way you're working different muscle groups as well as you're not pre-fatiguing that main muscle movement there. So we're not pre-fatiguing the triceps or the pecs by doing, say, push-ups and close grip bench press. So today was 12 reps for the T-bar row. We worked up to 205 pounds for 12 reps, and then for the close grip bench press, we worked up to a top set of 265 pounds for a heavy triple. Again, for the sake of time, I did cut down that last set completely, so instead of doing the 5 sets, we only did 4 sets. After that, we just did plank for 30 seconds and around 10 kettlebell swings. So again, modifications to the program. We'll see how it affects my results at the end of the day, but I think it is a better option to do this than to cut out the complete end of the workout, which would be, I would most likely be dropping out all the dynamic movements. And seeing as that I haven't really done that, incorporated that into my training, previously. I really wanted to make sure that my dynamic effort was incorporated into the workout schedule, so I did have to drop out a couple of sets and a couple of working sets for the max effort and volume. There is a B right here. Anyway, so we move on to our volume work for the day, which was again same movements, T-bar rows, except we dropped that down to reps of 8, as well as some close grip bench press. I'll have to go to the video. I didn't write down what I did, so here's a voiceover. For the T-bar rows, we increased that weight to 220, but reduced the reps down to 8 reps, just to add a bit more heavy weight. With the reps there, you'll see a lot more body English and momentum. And here with the close grip bench press, you notice there's a slight upward motion right there after the re-rack. That's not great. It means I'm unlocking the shoulder joint when I unrack the weight. Ideally, the shoulder joint stays locked in place from the rack to when you start pressing. So that's definitely something I need to work on. That's another good thing with videotaping yourself. Watch that for the unrack of the bench press, because there is a leak of energy and is potentially hindering my ability to execute the bench press properly. And the ab movement for this volume set again was some planks. We just held that for 30 seconds. I'm not trying to break any plank records here, so just keep it 30 seconds, keep the volume somewhat manageable. So we're not going to a point of failure, we're kind of just staying within a manageable range. And from there, we move on to the dynamic effort, which was overhead press with bands. We did 105 pounds. I tried 115 pounds, which was a 10-pound jump from last week. Wasn't feeling great for that first rep, so I dropped the 10 pounds off and we went back to 105 pounds, same weight as last time. Again, with these dynamic effort movements, the two things I'm mainly concerned with are speed and technique. When either of those start to dissipate or disappear, I'm going to not add weight or reduce the amount of weight, just because we can't play with a lot of variables, because it is that EMOM setup in the 10 minutes. I can't rest longer. We're doing the same 3 reps, so I can't drop the rep number. The only thing I can really play with is the weight. So when I see those two signs, either the bar slows down or my technique starts to break down, since I can't alter rest and reps, I'm going to alter the weight, just because that's the setup of the program, and I want to stick to the program as closely as I can. And that's something I would also recommend for you. If you do notice you're slowing down and you're not as advanced a lifter as you think you are, when the bar speed slows down, I would recommend checking that weight that you're using and making sure that maybe the seventh set is as fast as that first set. If it does slow down significantly, I would recommend tempering that weight, just because when you're in that beginner intermediate phase, the speed of this is really the best indicator of your max muscle activation. When you get to more advanced levels, the bar speed can be slowed down a fair bit, but because you understand how to activate the muscles in that dynamic nature, the bar speed doesn't matter as much as it does muscle activation at that explosive nature of executing the lift. So the thinking behind it is, if your 1 rep max is 600 pounds and you load up 300 pounds onto the barbell, you want to move that barbell with as much force as it takes to move 600 pounds. That's why it should move quickly, because it's 50% of your 1 rep max. So when we start increasing that weight, if you stop moving that bar speed as fast and you don't know how to necessarily activate your muscles in an explosive fashion, you're going to miss out on the benefits of the dynamic effort method, and you're going to switch over into volume territory. But now with the volume work, you want to be in that 60 to 80% range of the 1 rep max. Now you're down at the 40 to 60% range. You're kind of not doing volume work or dynamic effort work. You're just kind of stuck there doing work that isn't as productive as it could be if you stuck to one or the other. That's why I like to keep an eye on the bar speed, make sure I don't increase that weight prematurely, and I'm kind of progressing that as much as I can whilst keeping all the other factors in check with this program. So that being said, that wraps up the second day. Like usual, I'll leave playlist right here so you can check out the previous videos of the Darkhorse Training program, as well as stay tuned to see my final overall rating and review, as well as the final testing day. This has been Selman from WynnStrength, and remember, a better life through strength.